What's going on, y'all? I am Jaren. I am a voice teacher, speech trainer, and the founder and owner of this blessed studio, the Jaren M. LaGuerre Studio. So I did an analysis of Michael Jackson's version of You Can't Win, and I'll put that up here in the video so you can click that if you want to. And when I did that, all y'all said, no bad news, no bad news. So I said, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and do no bad news as well, because I love this whole musical. So I may actually do probably almost every song from this musical, to be honest. Or I guess from this film, if you will. So I'm excited to do this, y'all. So I love this song. This song is so fun. The character is great. So let's talk about it, y'all. Here's my own voice analysis of Mabel King as Eveline singing No Bad News from the WIZ.
Which it pleases me to do. Don't nobody bring me no bad news, cause I wake up already negative and I'm firing up my views. So don't nobody bring me no bad news.
It's like she's singing with a punchy growl. Don't nobody bring me no bad news. And it's almost like the punch comes from the harshness or the percussiveness of the articulation, like the plosive consonants, the fricative consonants. Don't nobody bring me no bad. Don't nobody bring me no. You see how I'm kind of finessing the consonants in a way where it's kind of punchy? Don't nobody bring me no bad news. And even her vibrato has a punch to it. Bad news. It's not bad news. It's kind of a bad news, kind of like that. And how she paces the text, it's very rhythmic. Dun, 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 dun. It's almost like a jazz trumpet or something like that. I've always loved this. Always loved this.
If we're gonna be buddies, you better bone up on the rules, cause don't nobody bring me no bad news.
Don't nobody bring me no bad news. That no had a good little growl in there. And then that on the rules, I had a little vocal throw in there. She does a lot of vocal throws, a lot of growling, a lot of percussive articulation with the consonants to really make this character come to life. Because it's not just about, I'm gonna sound good, let's bring out the character. So you probably don't want this character to sound, you know, all smooth and I mean, unless it's a different interpretation or depending on how you want to finesse it, hey, whatever you want to do is fine. But how she talks to people and how she moves about in her life, she's very aggressive, and so her singing is aggressive. It's very attacky. And aggressive doesn't mean bad. Aggressive doesn't mean terrible. It's just a word. You know, I love aggressive singers. Let's be clear. I love aggressive singers. I say all the time that Karen Clark Sheard is an aggressive singer. I love aggressive singers. Y'all know how much I love Karen Clark Sheard here, okay? Y'all know that is my girl. But she's an aggressive singer, and that's okay. I'm somewhat of an aggressive singer. Depending on the song, depending on what I'm doing, I'm an aggressive singer. People tell me that all the time. You know, so aggressive doesn't mean bad. We have put a negative connotation on aggressive for whatever reason, but aggressive doesn't mean bad. Aggressive just means aggressive. It's just a definition.
You can't be my best of friends as opposed to paying dues, but don't nobody bring me no bad news.
Don't nobody bring me. I love how she makes these words quick. Don't nobody bring me. It wasn't bring me or bring me. It was bring me. No bad news. It's almost like marcato or accented. Don't nobody bring me no bad news. You know, and some syllables are extended. No bad news, right? But some are kind of quicker. It's just kind of how she's finessing it.
No bad news. No bad news. No bad news. No bad news. Now don't you ever bring me no bad news.
And it's like she stays in the nasality of the nasal sounds. Don't nobody bring me no bad news. She uses the nasal sounds to kind of help navigate her resonance, if you will, or her sound, her vocal texture. Don't nobody bring me no bad news. So you put that along with the growl. Don't nobody bring me no bad news. You see what I'm saying? It's kind of like a nasal growl, aggressive sound for this character and for what Mabel's doing here.
Cause I'll make you an offer, child, that you cannot refuse.
Do you hear those glottal pops she's putting in her articulation or in her vocal delivery here? I'll make you an offer, child. I can't really do it like her, but it's almost like I'll make you an offer, child, an offer, child. I don't know if she said the end sound. It was an offer, child, an offer, child, an offer, child. And you've used the word child. I use the word child today when I talk to people. Child, you know, child, shut up. You know, I'd be like, child, whatever, child, you funny. I say that regularly in my normal conversation, especially informally and formally, honestly. But yeah, she's using AA AAV words too. I'll make you an offer, child, that you cannot refuse, you know? So it's kind of using AAV in the delivery of what she's trying to say. Really cool.
So don't nobody bring me no bad news. Now when you're talking to me, don't be crying blues.
Now when you're talking to me, she kind of opened up that vowel. Talking to me, yeah, kind of had an aspirate open vowel ending on that, kind of the schwa, the neutralized vowel. When you're talking to me, yeah. You see, every time I sing, I have a little snarl on my face. It's kind of like that character and kind of how I bring out that sound that she's doing. When you're talking to me, yeah.
Oh, don't nobody bring me no bad news. You can verbalize, vocalize, but just bring me the clues. But no, nobody bring me no bad news. Bring the message in your head.
I love how she said message in your head. She almost like opened up the vowel on head. Head. Instead of head, we say head, but she said head. Head. It's almost like she made a diphthong in the word head. How you spell it is H-E-A-D. So essentially it could be head if you want it to be, like, you know, phonetically it could be head, but the word we say is head, right? Like head. But she made a diphthong. Message in your head. Message in your head. And kind of threw it off like that.
Something you can lose, but don't you ever bring me no bad news. No.
Don't you ever. Ooh, yeah. Don't you ever. It wasn't ever. Don't you ever bring me no bad news. That percussive nature of articulation is right there. Don't you ever bring me no bad news. You see what I'm doing when I'm on the beat? Don't you ever bring me no bad news. It's almost like she's scatting too. It's almost like, even though she's saying like English words, if you will, how she's delivering the pacing is almost like a trumpet. It's like scatting with words. Don't you ever bring me no bad news. So instead of something like don't you ever bring me no bad news, it'd be something like da 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 da. You see what I'm saying? I'm not a good scatter, but you see what I'm saying? I'm kind of pacing my words as if a trumpet or a trombone or a horn section was kind of giving some stuff to the music. That's kind of how she's singing her vocal line a little bit. I won't say a little bit, a lot of it. Yeah, it's like scatting with words.
You gotta bring me something, I'm making something I can use. But don't you bring me no bad news. Well, no bad news. No bad news. Now don't you bring me no bad news. I say, cause I'll make you an offer, child, but you cannot refuse. So don't you bring me no bad news. What?
Now she's scatting for real. You heard it right there. Now she's literally scatting. She did a couple rolled R's, something like that. She kind of used some B and D sounds to kind of give the percussiveness, kind of like what I was saying before. I was using B and D sounds to scat, kind of how she was doing. It's all the same thing. That's what I'm saying. Little nuance right there. Nobody knew. That was nice. It was like nobody knew whose. So she kind of put like an aspirate or an H onset, a breathy onset before each knew whose, and broke up the vowel of news, knew whose. And I think I'm missing a note in the little lick right there, but you see what I'm saying? Whose, kind of like that.
I'll make you an offer, child, but you cannot refuse. So don't nobody bring me no bad news. I say don't nobody bring me no bad news. I say don't you bring me.
Now she's kind of doing like a vamp like he would in church. Don't you bring me, don't you bring me, don't you bring. So the backup's kind of being like a choir, and she's kind of doing some ad-libs, kind of like he would in church. Don't you bring no bad news, don't you, no, no, don't you bring me. Okay, I mean, this song is a little churchy. I mean, honestly, it's kind of churchy. It's kind of churchy.
Don't you bring me. Hey, don't bring me.
And I feel like the growl is now intensified. It's kind of heightened up and it's kind of more brighter. It's kind of intensified because she's ending the song here. So the growl is even more characterized in that way.
I say don't you ever bring me. Don't you ever bring me.
Bring me, not bring me, it's bring me. Bring me. Yeah.
Oh, bad news.
If you enjoyed this analysis, click subscribe down below to click the alert button next week so you know when the next video is posted. And as I will always say to you, be vocally bold, creative, and aware, but most of all, be vocally you. I love you so much, and I'll see you soon.